Hey there, it's a quick demo on an OpenStack Essex scripted install. So the install is going to start out on VirtualBox here. I will do my best to demo a second part of this, which will actually show compute nodes going in. So I think everybody, if they're watching this, probably has a pretty good idea of what OpenStack is. So we're going to create the VM here. I'll give it about 3 gig of RAM. I've done it with as little as 1 gig or 1500, but it gets real slow. You need a regular VDI box, dynamic. You can go. I've done this also. So storage, I'm doing 14, but I've done even less. So you don't need a whole bunch if you don't have a lot of resource. I'm gonna create. Now let's take a look at preferences. You got to create these virtual bridges, so go ahead and create those. Let's do this one. I'm just showing a typical one. You can add, delete, whatever. Go ahead and delete it. Really just need 2 of these because we're going to do 2 host only. First one set up like that. Second one set up like that. And this is under the global preferences of VirtualBox. So you won't find this if it's the first time you've run it or if you've never set one of these up. DHCP servers turned off. That'll be handled by provisioning. Okay, now let's look at our box. Let's take a look at our network. First adapter we're going to leave as NAT. Second adapter, let's go ahead and enable it. Do it host only. Assign it to VBox net 0. And then we'll do a second one. Assign that host only also. I'm going to add some processor cores to it. I've done it with as little as 1, but got some to spare, so we'll do 4. I do recommend when the box comes up, obviously enable virtualization and hardware. When the box comes up, go ahead and install the guest tools. I think that's good. I'm installing Ubuntu Beta 2, 12.0.4. That is in beta still, but I think all the Essex development was being done under 12.04. So power on the machine. It's going to go through the install, and I'll to spare everybody from having to watch an install here, I'll pause the recording as we go ahead after we get past the initial. So we're going to install Ubuntu. And I fast forwarded here. So first thing I do is always delete the built-in network manager. You could probably do it without doing it, but I kind of recommend doing that. Next thing we need to do is set up the networking components. So let's go ahead and edit our network interface list. I've got this copied and pasted, so I'm just going to paste that in. You can pause, take a look at it. That'll be our configuration. The blog post that goes along with this has details on all this. I don't want to tie up this with going through each component of it. Let's go ahead and restart our network services here. Apply, make sure everything applies. We don't get any errors. Let's go ahead and take a look at our interfaces, and then let's go ahead and do a ping. Make sure we can get out to the world and that's working right. Alright, very good. Next we're going to, let's go ahead and install Git. So that's what we're going to use to clone the repo. And next we're going to pull down the install script. And I'm typoing. Live demos suck. Not very good sales guy apparently. So let's go into where we downloaded that. What do you call it? Let's clone it. And then we need to switch to the Essex build. CD into that. And check out Essex. Now we're set. Alright, let's go ahead and pull down the script. We're going to install it. And yes, I'm going to, just pulls down some packages, so I'm going to pause again. We'll come back once everything's set up. We're still installing. Should be about done here. And next thing we're going to do after this installs is pull down the images. So we need to pull down our compute node images, and then we'll spin up our nodes. Okay, now we've got those installed. Real important to take a look at, make sure that glance shows that hash in there. If that is empty, redo it. Ran some problems with that. Now, we should have our dashboard running. So let's go in here, log in as demo, password is OpenStack. Yes, remember. So let's take a look. No instances yet. So what's really cool are the flavors. So depending on what the node and what the instance you want to spin up is, you can pick that. There are services, so lots of service components to it. Here's our one image that's in there. Let's go into projects and spin one of those up. And we've got instances, volumes, images, snapshots. We'll go ahead and go into access and security first. We need to generate our key pair. This is basically our SSL key. Name it wpress. Save it. We'll need that later, so don't delete it. We need to go ahead and set up our rules. So do 22 TCP, leave CIDR at everything. We'll do 80 and 8080. And this is dev environment, so I'm just throwing everything. Obviously it's a dev environment, it's my laptop. Let's do ICMP, do -1 for type and code, -1. And there are rules. So now we've got that. Let's go ahead and spin up an instance. Go to images and click launch. Give the server name a name. So we're going to do wpress front end. So this will be I'll do a second part of this that'll have a front end and a back end actually using it for something. Pick your key pair, WPress, and then default security. So now the node is spinning up. Notice we've got an IP address that's been assigned to it. The 10103 is on the back end. It's bound to the bridge. So at this point, if you went in and look at ifconfig, you'll see a VLAN interface with 100 tagged to it. Alright, let's spin up our backend node. Name it WPress back. That's where we'll put our MySQL database. To launch that, again, we gave it the key pair again. And once this creates, let's go ahead and get a terminal open. So it takes especially since there's not a whole lot of memory on those, takes a few for them to spin up. So that dashboard has what we got. Let's go ahead and get logged in. So we need to get into the directory where we saved the key. So we'll do an SSH -I. Let me resize this. The -I. Add the key pair. WPress PIM. The username for these nodes are Ubuntu, so the installer script's real straightforward. You can go in. Oop, what do we got here? That node probably hasn't come up yet. No, it should be getting something. There we go. I just started the SSH service. So back to the installer script, it's real easy. Go in, customize it, do whatever you want with it. Use it as a template. There's a lot out there. The one I picked is great. It's pretty fresh and didn't really have any problems with it. So now we are on our node as soon as it loads. Yay. It's a plain Jane build, and that's an EC2 build. Let's get our other box going here. I'm going to log into the other box. And I need to get in the directory with the key. And we'll go to the front end box. And we're in our front end box now. So the part 2 of this, we will go through and actually do something with the nodes, because I'm a network guy and it never hurts to knock off some rust and actually figure out what somebody's going to use infrastructure as a service as. So I will have a link to part 2 posted and then a blog going along with it. And make sure we have connectivity out, and we do. And we're getting natted properly. So thanks, and check out the part 2.